Teal the stat. Real raw and uncut. We done teamed up. A podcast for the community, hard as an uppercut with that real news. Upside your headpiece, informing you with that real stuff. With the how, why, who wins and what's a reality, making it clear cut. Truth will set you free, unfiltered and no bluff, no fluff. You kid or rebut, don't be bewildered. Don't agree with the cause, great, you can speak up. Wednesdays at 8, hit the comments up. Talk your stuff, set it straight. We learn more from each other in this information age. Institutions will leave you lost and awestruck. So listen up, you'll be compelled. Maybe you'll find yourself stuck on what you thought was real. But them gems I'm dropping on this program may just appeal to your appetite for info. This the intro to reveal. Get your info on YouTube for your fill. From AM to PM, it's popping, so sit back and chill. Nobody doing it like this man on this podcast. It's for real. It's real raw and uncut. Real raw and uncut. Wednesdays at 8 AM.
Yo, whether you're listening to this on your way to work, whether you listen to this at work, or whether you're listening to this on your way to bed, this is the Rel Raw Uncut Podcast. I'm your host, Rels, and I'm joined by a very special guest. It's another one because it's another dude that I went to high school with, that we graduated together, that is doing something big with his life and everything in between. But let me introduce everybody to David Santiago of Scalp Solutions. I was going to call you by your original name, your real name, but I was like, I don't know. So I just left it with what you work with business-wise. So I just left it just like that. But what's going on, though? How you doing?
First and foremost, I appreciate you for having me on your platform, my brother. I love what you're doing. I've listened to your podcast, man. Keep it up. I love the traction you got going on. And now to go back with the name, it's so funny because a lot of people will still call me. They'll call me Celestino, and I respond to it's just I had a legal name change a few years ago. So my name was always David Santiago, but it was Celestino David Santiago. So I just got rid of Celestino, but by all means, it's all good. I respond to it. Not many people, we talk about.
Well, listen, in the phone, I got it as Celestino, but I was like, I'm gonna just go. Well, okay, so then right off the bat, then what was the reason for the name change?
Oh wow! We gonna go there right off the rip.
Yeah, you literally 5 seconds in, you like, I changed my name.
So check this out, man. When I was coming up, I was brought up by a single mom, so my dad wasn't there for me. So I felt like he shouldn't have had the honor and the privilege of naming me by his name. I felt like we were two totally different people. When I came to that decision, I just asked my mom. I was like, "Hey, Mom, would you be upset, if I changed my name? Like, did you have a say in that? Was this you who wanted me to be called Celestino?" Obviously, at the time, I didn't have the relationship that I have now with my dad, and I was younger, a little more ignorant. And she was like, "Nah, I already know what you want to do. By all means, go right ahead." So I went. I just removed the Celestino from it, and I was just, David Santiago, and that's pretty much where that stemmed from.
Oh, all right. But you said at that point, we're getting deep now. A few seconds in, we're gonna get deep. So you said you didn't have the best relationship with your father, so that was the hint for the name change. I mean, is it a relationship now?
We have a relationship. We talk, we cordial, but it's not. We're cordial. We talk.
I don't think a lot of people understand, like, because I went through the same thing too. Like when my father passed 2011, it was like.
Sorry about your loss.
Nah, I appreciate it. But it's more like just like you. It's like we grew up with a single parent home. It was like the mom was the one that raised us, and it was like everybody kind of want us to be cool with our father, be a son to our father. And it's like, how do you even put yourself in that position when it was never there to begin with? And it's like, as you get older, you kind of have to be more. You got to be more mature than them to actually be able to accept them in your life and want to have them in your life. So, yeah, you get what I'm saying, though. You understand where I'm coming from.
It's hard to explain unless you're someone who's gone through it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And not that it's hard, not necessarily that it's hard to explain. It's hard to get someone to understand your perspective on it when that person hasn't been there. But as you get older, what changed it for me was my daughters. Because I was, what? This is not about me right now. It's about my daughters. You know, they need to be made aware of that they do have a grandfather, because they would ask me. They was like, you know, like, Daddy, you never talk about your father. And I talk about my father all the time. You just happen to call her grandma, you know? So they didn't really, you know, they didn't know, they were too young. So I was like, you know what? I don't want my daughters to ever grow up and have some sort of resentment towards me by, like, you know what, Dad, like, you never even allowed me to have a relationship with my grandfather. Like, why would you strip me from that? And this is me just thinking the way these new millennials behave in themselves, you know, like they would use something like that to you know, to like kind of have some sort of like a feeling towards me. So, you know, I made that introduction and I went out my way, and, you know, I spoke with my dad. I forgave him for everything, because, you know, it is what it is. And then, you know, we figured on, all right, how do we move forward now, have some sort of a father-son, you know, relationship on the strength, you know, for my kids, so that they have a you know, a grandfather in their life.
Shout out to Cardinal Hayes for teaching you forgiveness.
Forgiveness. We don't forget. We forgive. We
I think a lot of people don't realize, like, forgiveness to me, as I got older, is the most mature word you could ever have, because, like you said, we don't forget. But it still takes a lot for us to even just forgive someone. Like, let me ask you a question. If you made this, you know, a thing with your father, like, yeah, I called you now, whatever the case may be. If it ever came to a point now where he was just like, and went MIA again, would that just be the end of it?
You know what, man? At this point right now, and this is, I'm gonna get your answer, but let me give you a little bit of context. It's like I asked him when, you know, we started patching up the relationship. You know, he asked me, he was like, you know, what is it that you want from me? And I think he thought like I was coming to him like, yo, I need a dad, I need a man in my life, XYZ. So I
ain't gonna front, I would have took it that way, because it's like, why are you asking me that?
You know what I mean? So like, I asked him a question. I was like, do you know what's the role of a father in his son's life? And he gave the traditional question, I mean, the answers that, you know, any father would think, oh yeah, to, you know, protect them, guide them, XYZ. And I told him, I was like, no, the purpose of a father in a little boy's life is to raise him to be a man. I'm a man already, and my mom did that. Like, there is nothing left for you, you know, to do for me. You know what I mean? Like, I'm already a man. So I just wanted to just like, let's just establish something, some sort of foundation, and then just keep it moving from there.
All right. Well, I mean, look, at the end of the day, that's a big man of you, because you really didn't have to do it. Even though, like you said, your daughters were the reason why you decided to go that route, but you could have just simply just told your daughters, like, yo, he's not a part of my life, whatever. It's just grandma, whatever. And you could have kept it pushing, but you gave that to them. You gave them what you didn't have growing up.
Yeah, for sure. And I'll tell you what, a big part of that, and I attribute a lot of that, is to converting into like really embracing being a businessman. In business, you know, there's no emotions, but you really got to learn, you know, in business, you give people more opportunities to really slip up on you than you do your family. And you can't just always in business just automatically dead someone, because you really could have something good going on. It's just a matter of having a couple of uncomfortable conversations to put things in the right path. So that definitely, I attribute that you know, that forgiveness to me tapping into that, because I probably would have still been just as ignorant and just been like, you know what, forget it. Like, you know, I don't need this relationship.
That's true. So we go from that. Now we're gonna go backwards. Now we kind of went way ahead, but we're gonna go backwards.
We jumped off the diving board right
off
the rip.
So a lot of people don't know we graduated. So the viewers out there, we went to the same high school, Cardinal Hayes High School. We were the millennial class. Yes, nobody could ever say we graduated in 2000. When the Y2K bug was supposed to happen, we were supposed to never make it. But we did it. Yeah. but we did it. You know what I'm saying? We grew up. We had a great structure in high school. Now that I get older, I realize how important high school was and the relationships, because of all the people that I'm still cool with to this day, even if I haven't seen you since. But in some ways, over the years, we've always checked up on each other. Between me, you, Brian, Jovan, all of them, we've always checked up on each other, whatever the case may be. So after high school, I realized, you went to the military.
Yes, sir.
What was life in the military like after high school?
Initially, it was a culture shock because I was, your average, kid from the Bronx who just never left the Bronx. And like growing up, we just did not leave our immediate area because we just didn't know any better. We was like, yo, this is it. We don't need to. So
wait, let me cut you off real quick. What made you go to high school? What made you go to the military?
I was heading down the wrong path, brother. I knew that I was in Pace University.
Mm-hmm.
I always wanted to be a Marine. I I got pictures of me at 2 years old wearing, the cover, and I'm wearing the dress blues from, friends of family. But as I got older, I just didn't think it was something that I could actually push through. But after I Cardinal Hayes, I went to Pace University, and I was like, all right, this is the beginning of, my college journey. I want to, I'm going to get my act together. And I didn't. I was actually, I was getting worse, and when I was able to like really tap into that and tell myself like, bro, you slipping, you going down the wrong path, and you going like at 120 miles per hour. I told myself, I need to get out of here. I need something different. I need some discipline. I need some structure in my life. And I knew that the Marines was going to give me that. So I made the phone call, and I'm thinking like, bro, less than a month, I was out. Like that's how bad I wanted to get out of the situation. And on top of that, I wanted to make some money too, so I could help my mom.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think though, as soon as I graduated a few weeks later, I'd be, September 11th, having.
Oh wow, that was in that time frame.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Yeah, so everything changed at the blink of an eye.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when I initially went in, I wanted something that was going to look good on my resume, help build my character and make me just more of an asset in the blue collar, the white collar world, because I wanted to be a computer technician. And next thing you know, September 11th happened. I was like, oh, okay, things are about to change right now.
That's crazy.
Yeah, but initially that's what it was. I just wanted to get out of the environment that I was in because I could see the future, and I was like, it's not going to be a good one.
I mean, well, at least you recognized what it could have been, as opposed to, you changed your life. Like that's what going to school teaches you. Like if things aren't working for you, there's options for you. You know what I'm saying? But like you said, growing up in the Bronx and pretty much all you knowing is the Bronx, it's hard for guys like us at that time to venture out and see a whole new world and really figure out how to adjust into it. Because I can imagine for you, going in the military was not easy. Like the adjustment process.
No, not at all. You got people screaming at you. The drill instructors are screaming at you. They're spitting in your face. They're telling you what to do. All the things that growing up in the hood, you never allowed someone to do. Because you knew, like, all right, no, I have to defend myself now because this dude is disrespecting me, and we can't allow that. So it was an absolute culture shock, but it's something that I do not regret at all. It absolutely helped pave, the way for me to become, the man that I am today.
All right, cool. Where are some of the places that you travel?
So initially, Beaufort, South Carolina. I was in Camp Lejeune, North Carolina. I was 29 Palms, California, Virginia, Iraq, Kuwait.
What's the hottest one out of all of them?
Oh man, I was in. Oh man, you know what? Can I give you a story?
Yes, go ahead. Absolutely,
bro. So to answer the question, it was 128 degrees when I was in Kuwait before the invasion into Iraq. And the porta johns,
yes,
the portable urinals,
the porta
potties, there we go. Bro, I had to go, I had to do my thing, and that's what they had available to us. And this was on my first day. When I went in there and when I came out, it legit looked like I jumped in a pool and then just came out of the pool in the uniform. Like that's how hot it was in there. And there's a temperature gauge, and I'm reading it, and I see that it says, I'm sorry, not 128. Yeah, it was 128. So I'm looking at it and I'm like, this got to be in a different, is this Fahrenheit, Celsius? It can't be. I'm like, I don't know. But I was like, there's no way I'm able to, like even like absorb this at this moment right now. And bro, that's exactly what it was. 128 degrees, bro.
Wow.
Yeah, it's nothing nice. Trust me, bro. Like I was holding my arms because it was so hot. Like your body it takes some time for your body to acclimatize, and it took like about 3 days. I don't know what it feels like to be put inside of a stove, but I'm pretty sure this is what it felt like.
I'm pretty sure you because I don't want to talk too much about it, but I'm pretty sure you made some pretty good friends along the way, and probably lost some pretty good ones as well, right? I would assume.
Absolutely. That's casualties of war, brother. Definitely. I still, I've been able to maintain a lot of the friendships that I established while I was in the Marine Corps. And then, my last 4.5 years, I was a medical case manager for the entire East Coast. So I dealt with all the wounded, ill, and injured. So because of that exposure, to that environment, I witnessed, a lot of good friends, go as well too.
Do you okay, so a little backstory about me too as well. I have a lot of family that's in the military. My brother just finished Air Force, I think last year or 2 years ago. He did his 20 years. Awesome. My aunts was in the Air Force. They're finished. Well, I think they're finished. They still get the military lifestyle. So and then my father was a Marine. So yeah, so you know what I'm saying. So you talking about all of this, I kind of have a foot in somewhat, and I know they wanted me to go that military route, but I was just like, man, I don't think that's for me. So I kind of left it behind. But my next question is, coming from the military and doing all of that before you got into back acclimated into regular civilian life, did you suffer from a bad case of PTSD? Like, did it haunt you once you came home and like had to readjust to like regular life again?
Yeah, so the readjustment was crazy. You talking about like when we, coming back from war?
Yeah, like coming back from war and then like to like just now being like in terms of what you're doing now as well too, like just coming back from war and then now having to be back into like regular life again.
Yeah, so the transition was absolutely crazy because you got to remember too, you're stripped from everything that we currently have, and the first thing that you identify is how ungrateful you are for things that are just normal day-to-day stuff. For example, a freaking toilet bowl. When was the last time you went to the bathroom and did what you had to do there and looked at the toilet bowl and go like, wow, man, I really appreciate you. I don't know what I'm going to do without you. Until you're stripped from it and now you're doing what you got to do inside of a canister that 30, 40, 50, 60 other people went. There's bugs all over. It's absolutely disgusting. While you're there, you have this mind shift because you say, hey, this is war, right? You're a Marine. It's not even an issue. But now when you get back home, to answer your question, now you have all of this. So it took me some time to like really adjust because I was like, wow, like I can't believe how ungrateful I've been. I feel like just all Americans, how ungrateful we are because we have all these luxuries and we don't realize we have them until they're gone. So like it took me a couple of days to make that adjustment. Obviously sleeping on a real bed, not worried about waking up in the middle of the night, somebody telling you, hey, we got to go on a mission XYZ. So like it was an adjustment, but it wasn't a difficult adjustment because I came from Iraq back into the hood, and that within itself is a whole other, this might be a little bit exaggerating, but it's a war zone, so like there's still gunshots at night where you kind of like rolling off the bed, making sure, the bullet doesn't go in through your window. So it was definitely, a rough transition for like the first 2 weeks. And then after that, it was just like, all right, this is what it is. I'm back to, the civilian sector.
Okay, so then how did you transition from coming back home into the business that you have now?
Oh man, so I've been cutting hair, and a lot of people, even while we were in Cardinal Hayes, I was cutting hair. I've been cutting hair since I was 13 years old. So I've been a licensed master barber for over 22 years. So that was my hustle. I was cutting hair, and then I eventually uh learned about men's wigs, and I was like, oh, hold on a second, like, is this something lucrative? Is it good? And then I found out, oh wow, this is incredibly lucrative. And then you start looking at statistics, and you're like, oh wow, there's a lot of men and women that are suffering from hair loss in this country. I mean, right now you're talking about like 65 million. So I'm like, okay, so there's a big plate to eat
Mm-hmm.
from. So I started learning how to install men's wigs. So that was like my introduction to the hair loss industry. And then I started experiencing hair loss myself. My hairline started receding. So I was like, okay, so now I started exploring options, and I was like, I'm not wearing no wig. First of all, like, I know how to do this, but I'm not putting a wig on. And I came across a procedure that was called scalp micropigmentation, which is essentially a cosmetic hair loss tattoo.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I got to get this done. So I got it done myself. Like, this is it right here. If I didn't have this, I'd be, my hairline is ghost. It's gone. I lost that bad boy like in 2002.
Oh yeah, I know the feeling. I lost hair in the middle of my scalp in like 2005, 6, 7, somewhere around
Yeah,
there.
man. So I got the procedure done, and after seeing how it immediately made me feel, the light bulb immediately went off. I was like, whoa, hold on a second. Like, this is life changing.
Mm-hmm.
Now I need to learn this so that I can offer it as an additional service. And that's exactly what I did. I invested in some training, started learning, practice on a couple of friends, started building my portfolio. And then eventually I stopped doing the hair systems. I said, you know what? I'm going to go full blast with this. I'm going to open up a men's hair loss studio. And that was the birth of Scalp Solutions.
Mm. And what year was that?
So this was 2017.
Oh, so you're still kind of fairly new, but
Fairly
not
new.
fairly.
It's fairly new. The procedure itself is fairly new. It's a procedure that a lot of men or women that are experiencing hair loss, they don't even identify with. Like, they have no idea that it even exists, because right now the household name is hair transplants or
Yeah.
wigs. So it's fairly new. Although the treatment, the procedure has been going on maybe like 18, 20 years, because it originated in the UK and it's been in America for like about 11 years, 12 years.
We it's funny because the hair thing has been around since we were in school. They used to have the I'm
Hair
not only the client on I'm not only the client, I'm the president. That was when we were in high school. So
Yeah.
like you said, it's been around for a long time, but then nobody really thought to think of the scalp solutions. So as you said, so
Yeah, so I mean, it's been around for a while. It's just why would we even worry about that, right? When we were in Hayes, we had a beautiful head of hair. We were styling it however we want, afros, braids, like that was the least of our worry. So it's not until you start experiencing the hair loss and the feelings that come with it for you to start looking at. So back when we were there, we were just making fun of the commercials. I'm not just the president,
exactly.
I'm also a client. It's like, what the hell is this? Ain't nobody getting a wig.
And the funny thing is nowadays you can actually use that because you were a client.
I do all the time. I always
See?
say I'm not only the president. When I do my consultations here, I always show them my before picture, and I go, you see, I'm not only the president, I'm also a client. Some people don't even identify with that commercial. So
Yeah.
I run with that all the way.
That's crazy. Is it hard to balance your work life and family life?
No, no,
Okay.
I have a good system in place. So
Mhm.
had I not had that system, absolutely, it would be chaos. Right
Now,
now, controlled chaos.
so do you attribute it like having that system in place to the military life that you had?
Absolutely.
Helping you?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Everything is anyone that knows me personally knows that I'm very systematic. And some people, to some people it's a gift, to some people it's a curse. It's like, oh, I would never want to live my life like that. It's like, okay, you don't have to. You'll do what you do. Like, I am very systematic for, I have my set reasons. I don't want to be all flustered. I've experienced that. That just adds to the stress that you're already accumulating with all the stuff that you got going on. So if I could control it by having a system in place, that's what I'm going to do. And that's exactly how I've been moving. And it works.
That's cool. Have you ever had a bad would you consider it an operation? The scalp thing, would you consider it an operation?
This is non-surgical, it's non-invasive. This is essentially a tattoo. This is exactly it's a tattoo. We call it cosmetic because it's not going into the skin as deep as a traditional tattoo, but it is essentially a tattoo.
Okay. Have you ever had a bad experience?
Bad experience meaning like what? Like just have a really bad client, or like do a bad procedure?
Do a bad procedure.
No, I went about it the right way, and I told myself I'm gonna learn this and I'm gonna take my time, because to me it was like, this is what it is. It's a tattoo. I do not want to ruin someone's and have them knocking on my door ready to beat my ass. So I have been fortunate enough to not have destroyed anyone's scalp, but have I had clients come in who have gone to someone, another provider, and it was a disaster. Oh, I get that. I get that a lot, because there's a lot of people now that see what we do and they just think it's a very easy technique, and it's like, oh, I could do that, and they don't go through the right training, and they just they experiment on their friends, and then they'll end up coming to me like, is there anything you could do? I'm like, nah, brother, you got to get laser.
You messed up.
No, I have not destroyed anybody's scalp.
Have you had people
never will at this point?
Have you had people not believe in your work?
Not believe in
a sense, like in a sense of you saying like, this is what you want to do, and they're like, nah, that's not going to work.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean that. Listen, there's doubters, naysayers, haters everywhere, and in the very beginning, even I was questioning it because it was unheard of, and I was like, man, what am I doing? Because I'm investing, I'm putting all my freaking eggs into this nest. Like, I'm going all in. So yeah, but there was some doubters because the procedure just doesn't seem. You're telling someone I'm going to tattoo hair on your head. When in theory, when you hear that, you're like, man, get out of here, because we think of this. We think of traditional tattoos, so you automatically assume like that's not going to look good. But again, just growing up the way that I did and going through the military and just knowing that I'm not going to listen to anybody else's doubts. Like, you're not going to throw your fear on me. Like, I felt like this was a calling, so I knew I was going to go all the way. I really didn't care who told me or doubted. To be quite honest with you, the only person's opinion that I really cared for at the time was my mom, and my mom never tells me no. Whenever I'm dreaming, my mom is like, go ahead, do it. That's all I needed.
So that's all that mattered.
That's all that mattered.
Mattered.
This is what I'm about to do. It sounds crazy. What do you think? She was like, do you believe in this? Is this what you really want to do? I was like, Ma, I think I could really make this pop. It can be incredibly lucrative. I'm throwing numbers at her. She was like, so do it. You don't need me to tell you. You don't listen to me anyway.
Sometimes, and it's funny because we really don't. But sometimes just hearing that go ahead and do it. You got my confidence is like all we need to hear.
Exactly. I mean, I think any man, that's all we need, whether it be from our mom or from our lady. Is just, we just need to be told like, I believe in you, do it. And that for us, it's like, oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, that's all we need. That's all we need. Do you? Okay, so I got. Speaking of ladies, I got a question that was asked me when I told my lady that I was interviewing you in your profession. So her question is, do you have anything that can restore edges?
So with the technique that I do, it can, and what I mean by it creates essentially scalp micropigmentation. What it does, it replicates, it's the replication of hair follicles. results, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it creates, is essentially what I'm doing is I'm creating an illusion. So this right here is an illusion. I don't really have hair there. So can I create the look that she has fuller edges? Yes, I can. Will this procedure actually make the hair grow back? No.
Okay, so that was going to be my next question in terms when you said that you actually create the illusion on you. I'm like, okay, so to the outside eye, it just looks like you have a short haircut with a hairline. But
Correct.
if you decided one day you wanted to wake up and say, yo, I'm just going to let my hair grow out, you ain't going to have no hair in the front.
You're going to see my McDonald's hairline.
All right, see? All right, so, okay, so look.
Right. So you know, to keep it looking clean and uniform, I got to maintain this look, which is a buzz cut, which I'm okay with because when we were in high school, my hair,
you couldn't let our hair grow anyway.
Pretty much like this, you know what I mean? So for me, it's good. For other clients, for potential clients that have long hair and they're doing a comb over, they just have to come to terms with, hey, you can go with what you're doing right now, and that's combing your hair over, and one is making you feel ridiculous, you're not feeling confident, and if a nice gust of wind comes and you get that convertible action happening, you're gonna feel a certain way. Or you could buzz it down and create the look of a buzz cut and having a full head of hair where no one's gonna question it. The only question they might get is, hey, why don't you let your hair grow out? Simple answer. I just don't like it. I like doing this. This is cleaner and easier for me. That's simple.
And nobody could ever sit there and be like, I don't like that answer. That's the most honest answer. Like, I don't want to have to deal with my hair growing out and have to deal with all the extra headaches. So I keep it low like this.
Yeah, exactly. Just like that. And people just go, oh, okay. And right now, that's the look. I mean, you got all these celebrities that do have full heads of hair. What are they doing? They're buzzing their hair down because to them, it's like, oh, we got that action hero. You know, we're badass now. Where for us, it's just like, all right, well, I just want to have a hairline and give the appearance of a full head of hair.
Exactly. So I usually ask this question before I wrap up. So I'm gonna ask you the same question. I usually get it tongue tied, so you're gonna have to bear with me. If you could tell your younger self anything that you now know, what would you tell your younger self?
Do it. I spent so much, and what I mean by do it is, follow your dream, chase it, make it happen. Don't be scared. It's not supposed to be easy. It's going to be hard. You have to accept that. And I spent more than 10 years just on my couch telling myself I want to do something with my barbering skills. And I knew I was set out for more than just traditional barbering. And just like several entrepreneurs, I had the fear of failure. And as you grow, you realize that it's not failure. It's a lesson, and you have to go through that. So that's what I would tell myself. Go do it. Dream big. Don't be scared.
And there you go. You have it.
You're gonna fail. That's just part of the process. You want to fail because that's how you grow, because you learn.
Yeah, because if you do everything on the first try, then you kind of get complacent. It gets too easy, and then all of a sudden, when the failures do come, you won't know how to handle it.
You don't know how to handle it. You get punched right in the face, and you're like, "Whoa, what's happening?" You need those failures as you go through your entrepreneurial journey, because that also builds your character.
Thank you. Let everybody know where they can find you if they need, this new hairline of yours. Let them know where they can find you.
Yeah, for sure. So if you are a man experiencing hair loss and you want to get a solution that's guaranteed, non-invasive, same-day results, come check me out at www.scalpsolutionsny.com. And that is also my Instagram handle. That is my TikTok handle. That is my LinkedIn handle. That's any social media platform. That's my handle. Again, this is a non-surgical procedure. It's a cosmetic hair loss tattoo. Guaranteed results. 3 sessions. I'll bring you back to the fountain of youth.
And there you go. I can't appreciate that slogan any better than what you just said. I couldn't even do it if I had to read it. I can tell you must have studied that a couple of times, right? Because you seem like you had that one.
this is what I do, bro. You know, like I'm a walking billboard. If I can't sell myself, nobody's gonna do it,
bro. I say the same thing. Listening, having the clothing line and having the podcast, when you see me posting so much that when I sit there and tell you people will literally get sick, you're gonna understand, like, this is what I do. I have to put this out there. If I don't put it out there and don't put content out there, then how would anybody know that I'm doing anything?
Yeah, exactly. And you can be in the best in the world, but if no one knows about you, they don't care about you. And who's better to promote you than you?
Absolutely. And there you have it. So David Santiago, my brother for almost forever. I can't even, what is this? 30 years. Yeah, give or take, man. I appreciate you being on here. I greatly appreciate you being my guest. It took us some time to get this together, but we finally got it together.
All right, we busy guys, but we got it popping. And I appreciate you for having me on your platform and letting me talk to your community, brother. I appreciate it, for real.
Absolutely, thing, man. Appreciate you, man. Enjoy.
Have a good day.
All right.
Bro, this is raw and uncut. Bro, serving the